Hey, Frugal Tech here, and I really enjoy when people ask me questions. I enjoy responding to them in the comment section, and sometimes I like to make a video about the question. And I recently received a question about gaming on the Mac from Midnighter32. It's a rather lengthy question, so I'll get to it the best I can. He says, I would like to know your input on why Apple has not entered the gaming market, seeing how gaming today is mainstream and most game developers and publishers are trying to appeal to the masses. Why hasn't Apple jumped on this train yet? Now, I know they're trying to push iOS gaming on their phones and tablets somewhat, but their iMac line, Mac gaming, is non-existent. It would really be knocking two birds with one stone if they joined the gaming market. Right? By taking a chunk of the market share from Microsoft, since Microsoft seems to have about 95% of the gaming PC market. Or do you think they should release a mini console like the Xbox, PS4, etc.? And lastly, do you think Apple should join the gaming market or just stay neutral and release the products they are releasing now? Great question. So you asked basically three different questions in this, so I'm going to address them the best I can. The first question that you're asking me, why hasn't Apple entered the gaming market? Well, they actually tried back in '95 with the Pippin gaming console, but that ended up in disaster for Apple and is probably something that they didn't forget. If you're asking why don't they come out with a console today, that ship has sailed. It would be a massive undertaking of Apple resources, and the returns would be very, very dubious. The more I hear, the more I read, I'm tending to believe that PC gaming is becoming more and more popular. And the big fight, of course, is between the PS4 and the Xbox One. But when you have three different mainstream consoles, the Nintendo Wii, the PS4, and the Xbox One, trying to introduce that fourth console in there would be a massive undertaking. I think it's one of economics. It just is something I don't think makes a lot of sense for Apple to really get into. As far as the gaming on the Mac side, the iMac side, there's plenty of games out there. There's actually a website out there right now. I think it's called the Mac Game Store. Anyhow, you can go to the website. There's a lot of games there. There's games on the App Store. Steam has games in their library for Mac. So there are plenty of games out there, but nowhere near the number of PC games. So let's talk about the reason why for that for just a minute. I kind of think gamers fall into two basic camps. You've got your casual gamer, and then you got your hardcore gamer. Most hardcore gamers are going to game on the PC, and they're going to want a lot of control of their hardware in their gaming rig. A lot of them build their own PCs, so they've got better control. You know, they want the best video card they can afford, CPU, etc. Whereas with Apple, they control the entire experience. So if you're a real hardcore PC gamer, Mac does not offer you that ability to tweak out your system. So that rules that right out of there. As far as console gamers are concerned, it's not a market, as I said, that's really in Apple's DNA. Now, that being said, let's talk about your second question, which is, why haven't they released a mini console? In a way, they have. And whether it's intentionally or an unintended consequence, I'm not sure. I would think that with Apple's vast resources and really smart people there, it's not an unintended consequence. What am I referring to? Well, I'm referring to the ability to stream games right now from my iPad or my phone directly to my Apple TV. And I can use the phone or the iPad as a controller. So as a quasi mini console as it is. Now, I suspect that the next upgrade of the Apple TV will give you the ability to install apps, including games, on the Apple TV, either by a third-party controller, an Apple controller, or continue using your iOS device as a controller. Either way, it's essentially a mini console as of today. So the third question is, why should they, you're asking if they should join the gaming market. Well, I go back to the fact that gaming's never really been a big part of Apple's DNA, just like the enterprise. Apple has never been much for corporate sales, right? In fact, Steve Jobs was not interested in selling to big businesses very much. However, because of iOS, because of the iPhone, and more recently the iPad, Apple's made huge gains in the enterprise as a result of millions and millions of consumers purchasing these devices. So the adoption of Apple products, including MacBooks, MacBook Airs, etc., in the business world is the end result of getting millions of iOS devices into the consumer and building that Apple ecosystem. It's maybe an unintended consequence, or it might have been by design. Well, casual gaming is certainly a big thing on mobile. And Apple is working very closely with some top mobile game and independent game developers with their hardware, their APIs, their frameworks, their graphics processors, their motion co-processors, and the iPhone and the iPad, etc., to give great gaming experiences on those devices. So I think ultimately Apple has joined the gaming market, but not a in-your-face way of doing it, but rather as one of the things that you can do with their products. And I think that makes Apple really, really successful and will enjoy great success with gaming in the foreseeable future. And it might get even better in the years to come. But as far as a full-on gaming console, this is probably not in the cards for Apple. Rather, it'll be an additional functionality of the Apple TV, iPad, iPhone, etc. That's it. Hopefully I answered your question. Hey, love to hear from you in the comments down below. Bruce Naylor, talk to you later.